Oh, awesome little Sakura. Everyone was amazed, and then applauded quickly. Unexpectedly, little Sakura succeeded the first time. Although the power is far worse than Naruto, but being able to succeed has already made Xiaoqiang feel excited. Little Sakura here, after seeing her success, looking expectantly at Naruto. Deidara in the sky also nodded silently. Well, this little girl is quite talented, the explosion just now was really good. However, Naruto at this time frowned slightly, as if he was not satisfied. This is a bit wrong. Little Sakura's excited smile froze immediately, and then asked cautiously. Did I do something wrong? Naruto sighed, nodded slightly and said. Yeah, there are too many mistakes, hear this. Deidara in the sky kept her eyes fixed, just like the little Sakura, she was suddenly dumbfounded. What's going on? Isn't it a perfect blast? What went wrong? In the open space, Naruto shook his head and said. Little Sakura, what you just did is not a blasting technique at all. Just throwing a piece of clay that can survive an explosion is not Jonin at all. Little Sakura didn't expect Naruto to be so strict, so she immediately lowered her head and accepted the teaching humbly. And Naruto continued, although the target was blown up, your clay didn't touch the target at all, it was purely the 707 of the explosion. The power spread to the target. If it's not a target, but an enemy, if you throw it so far, the enemy will definitely dodge it. So, clay is not just about throwing it out, but also about accuracy. Having said that, he turned his head to look at the others and said. Do you still remember the shuriken technique you learned? This technique needs to be used here. First of all, you need to accurately hit the enemy in order to fully exert the power of the clay bomb. Therefore, the speed must be fast and the accuracy must be accurate. Don't think that the first practice can be fooled casually, every time it sounds like you are fighting a real enemy. Hearing Naruto's comments, little Sakura benefited a lot, while Deidara in the sky remained motionless. What the hell? What does this brat mean? Isn't this girl with pink hair just learning for the first time? Why is he so demanding? Deidara was a little dazed, thinking that when he learned the blasting technique and was able to use a bomb for the first time, Sheng Ying and the others praised him a lot. But Konoha, these brats, F*K, are the standards so high? I will demonstrate to you again, and you will see how I do it. Naruto asked little Sakura to go back and sit down, then looked at everyone and said. Xiaoqiang immediately focused their attention on Naruto. Deidara was no surprise either. He put his hands on his chest and sneered. He wanted to see how strong this Naruto was after talking for a long time. Naruto took a look, and then appeared 100 meters away in an instant, and inserted a target. Then come back in an instant. He turned his back to the Xiaoqiangs, and his voice came into their ears. Looking good. Xiaoqiang leaned forward one after another, wanting to take a closer look. Naruto picked up the clay, squeezed it casually, and brought out a cylinder with a sharp front end. It was a bomb that looked like a bullet. Aimed bombs are generally aimed at a single enemy, they must be fast, and they must be aimed at the enemy's dead spot, at least to my level. Saying that, Naruto clamped the bullet on the pad of his index finger. Subsequently, with a flick of the thumb, whoosh! Just for a moment, the clay bullet disappeared into Naruto's hand. Almost at the same time, boom! There was a deafening bang. The explosion shockwave that followed swept everything. The Xiaoqiangs behind Naruto were instantly flushed with hair. Even Deidara on Big Bird almost lost her footing. Looking at the ground, a 5-meter wide pit, Deidara was completely dumbfounded. Is this a clay bomb? What kind of power is this riding horse? A clay bullet? Not only the target was broken. Everything within a 5-meter radius is gone. Your bomb aimed at a single enemy has a diameter of 5 meters. Still aiming at the dead point of the fart? No need to hit, people will be blown into ashes. In the field, Naruto stood in place, after the presentation. He turned around indifferently, and said while turning. Did you see? You need to keep your hands steady and fast, and you need to hit the enemy's vitals accurately. A group of Xiaoqiang were dumbfounded, hit? And hit a hammer. you can blow up people from 5 meters away. Looking at the sky, Naruto slapped his hands. Okay, it's getting late, today's teaching will be done here first, you go back for a while and figure it out for yourself. We will gather here again tomorrow morning, and then I will check on everyone's progress. I hope everyone can take it seriously and make persistent efforts. Then break up. Soon, the Xiaoqiangs at the scene parted ways and went back to their respective homes. However, there are also many people who do not give up and find a place to practice by themselves. At this time, in the sky, Deidara was sprawled on top of the big bird, her mind in turmoil. Looking at the deep pits created by the explosions one after another on the ground, he couldn't help shaking his head with a sigh of relief. I didn't expect that there are people in this world who know explosive ninjutsu like me. Although the power is slightly weaker than mine, this guy, if he keeps rolling like this, maybe he will really catch up with me. Deidara's heart is a bit complicated at this time. Original. Once Iwagakure, not a ninja who didn't learn the technique of blasting. But blasting is not so easy to use, the power is small, and it is difficult to cause lethality. But the power is great, and the tank is easy to accidentally injure friendly troops. This kind of tasteless state that makes it useless and a pity to discard it makes the blasting technique gradually become a forbidden technique. Now in the entire Iwagakure, and even the entire ninja world, only Deidara can blast ninjutsu. Traveling alone on this road, Deidara often feels lonely. The loneliness that no one can understand his art is very painful. Unexpectedly, I met a person sitting on the same road in Konoha village today. This made him feel very surprised and very pleasantly surprised. Looks like I have to investigate Naruto. Early the next morning. It was just dawn. The Xiaoqiangs set off one after another, heading for the remote practice field yesterday. After a whole day of training yesterday, it was obvious that they had a lot to say. With a smug and arrogant look on his face, he thrust his waist and said, "Oh my, I accidentally practiced to a power of 0.1% yesterday, it should be a 0.1 level explosion in terms of level. I thought it was difficult, but I didn't expect to succeed so quickly." Hearing Kiba's words, Shikamaru held the back of his head with both hands, and the dead fish looked at the sky, and said casually, "Are you so arrogant after practicing to 0.1? I have practiced to 0.2. Did I say anything?" Tooth's face suddenly flushed red. Ino Shikacho's brain is really extraordinary, even I have only reached level 0.2. Neji looked at Shikamaru with serious eyes. Tiantian said with some regret, "Unfortunately, I only look like a 0.15 level now, how about you, Hinata?" Hinata whispered, I'm level 0.20. Shino, I'm about 0.07, this technique is really not suitable for me. Hear them talk about their progress. Little Sakura couldn't help SBL*CKM Ning. Because, she has reached level 0.25, but she's not going to say it now. Instead, I plan to give everyone a surprise when it is displayed later. And her old rival, Ino, has the same plan, a group of garbage. Sasuke, who was walking alone next to him, looked disdainful. Sure enough, only I can surpass Naruto. After he practiced almost without sleep for a while. He managed to reach level 0.3 power, it's the tallest one. Just wait, Naruto, it won't be long before I will surpass you. Sasuke's eyes are full of fighting spirit with dark circles. A group of people were making noise while rushing crazily. Before I knew it, I came to yesterday's practice field. The traces left by the explosion are still there. But at this time, there was a stranger on the scene. The man was wearing a mesh bodysuit, blonde hair, single bangs, ponytail, and a detector over his eyes. It was Deidara who was sent to spy on Naruto. Originally Deidara was not supposed to show up, but was watching in the dark. But after watching Naruto's teaching yesterday, I feel that as a senior blasting master, I need to set an example for those companions who have embarked on the same journey. That's right, he wants to show these people what is the real art of explosion. Then, he decided to wait here, I plan to show Xiaoqiang his clay bomb. Let these people open their eyes, but, Appearing on the training ground, Deidara's identity was immediately suspected. Seeing him, the Xiaoqiangs took 2 steps back immediately, and took out their kunai or shurikens to be on guard. Who are you? Why have I never seen you? If you dress so suspiciously, you must not be a good person. Say, are you a spy for intelligence? Everyone be careful, this person is probably an enemy ninja, be careful of his sneak attack. I saw a group of people looking vigilant. Deidara quickly waved his hand and said, I'm not a bad guy, I'm just a demolition expert who happened to be passing by. 17. D4.4 Dara did not intend to hide his identity at all. After all, this place is close to 100 kilometers away from Konoha village. Even if the Xiaoqiangs used the body flicker technique, it took them a full 2 hours. It is basically impossible to move rescuers. Besides, it's just a group of children, so it's not that serious. Deidara just wanted to act aggressive in front of them, and had no intention of making a move. Said so by Deidara. A group of Xiaoqiang were full of surprise. A passing demolition expert? What the hell? Facing the faces of the small powerhouses, Deidara didn't care either. Still with a friendly smile on his face, I just passed by here yesterday, and saw you guys practicing blasting. I happen to have a little too. In the past, I rarely saw people who could blast, so after seeing you, I couldn't help seeing Lai Xinshi, and wanted to communicate with you. Talking. His clenched palm stretches out, then opens palm up. A clay spider appeared in his palm. Everyone looked at it and found that it was really explosive clay. Then please take a good look at it, this is my explosion art. Subsequently, Deidara activated the sticky 10 spider. Under his control, the clay spider jumped out of his palm, and then climbed onto a nearby stone. There was a flash of white light and an explosion. The stone suddenly turned into a pile of dust. Ah! This, amazing, it's as powerful as Naruto's bomb. Everyone exclaimed. Deidara's smile grew wider. It's not over yet. He rubbed his hands together, then raised a clay centipede. After the centipede hit the ground, it quickly grew in size. It became a full 2 meters in length. The centipede crawled quickly and entangled a big tree in an instant. Boom! The big tree fell slowly. Amazing. Although it looks disgusting, it looks so flexible. It's amazing. What else can you change? Can you turn into a bird? When everyone saw that Deidara was really an expert in blasting, they immediately let go of their inner guard. They surrounded Deidara and asked all kinds of questions. Being surrounded and praised by the crowd filled Deidara's heart with satisfaction. When was he so popular? In Iwagakure, he was hated by the whole village because he kept blowing up things. He was even expelled from the village for killing several high-level officials. In that village, no one would recognize his art. But here, he is so popular. This gave Deidara a strange vibe. Makes him want to show off his clay bombs more. I still have a lot of clay bombs, do you want to see them? Deidara had a huge smile on his face. All the little powerhouses looked at him with curiosity. See, show us quickly. I want to see. Can you conjure a clay bomb like Naruto-kun? I want to see that. 05? Yeah, aren't you an expert? Let's see that one, very powerful bomb. I want to see it too, hurry up, give us a glimpse. A group of small strong, frantically pursuing. Deidara is rosy, great. Is this what it feels like to be admired? So F** King Cool? Come, don't worry, we have everything. My uncle is a bomb genius, a blasting artist, and knows all kinds of bombs. Watch me slowly show it to you. The other side. These guys started before I even got there? Listen to the sound of the explosion in the distance. Naruto was still wondering, but he also understands. Children just love comparisons. It must be comparing whose blasting technique is more powerful. However, after Naruto arrived at the scene, but he was slightly stunned. Dude! Isn't this Deidara? Looking at the smug Deidara, surrounded by Xiaoqiang. Naruto is a little lost. He knew Deidara's character, carefree and defiant, but hadn't expected it. Isn't this Deidara too bold? Go straight to Konoha to make trouble? Moreover, he still gets along with Xiaoqiang, isn't he afraid of being caught? What happened? Who is he? Naruto frowned, pretending to axe. Xiaoqiang turned their heads and saw that Teacher Ming was coming, and immediately surrounded him. He was a blasting expert passing by. Mr. Naruto, his clay bomb is also very powerful, and there are many modes. There are spiders and centipedes, it's fun. Naruto, I'm afraid this guy's blasting skills are not inferior to yours. Yes, it feels like it can compete with Naruto's. Everyone was talking about Deidara's identity and the bomb. Deidara watched the people who surrounded him run to Naruto one after another, and suddenly felt a little uncomfortable in his heart. The way everyone praised him before made him very useful. As a result, when Naruto came, he left him directly. And the most crucial point, my own bombs are obviously more, stronger and more interesting than Naruto's, okay? Actually say the same as Naruto? How does this make him stand? HMPH, brat, don't think that just because you're a little more handsome than me, you'll be in high spirits. Deidara squinted her eyes. Hands felt and felt in the clay bag. Although according to his character, he would like to give this Naruto 2 bombs. But he also knew that it couldn't happen here. After all, this is Konoha village, and it is said that Naruto also has a super S-class ninjutsu. If it gets too big, he won't be able to eat and walk away. Therefore, he had to express that he was not hostile, even if he was upset, he had to endure it. Stabilize your mind, Deidara stepped forward and said. That's what they call a spider bomb. He stretched out his hand, and in his palm lay a clay spider. This kind of clay bomb has low noise, small size, and high concealment, which is very suitable for sneak attacks. Deidara looked at Naruto smugly. This spider bomb can be manipulated according to its own will. In other words, remote-controlled bombs. Naruto must have never seen such a high-end product. Oh, let me see. Naruto leaned forward and Deidara injected chakra immediately. After the clay bomb was activated, he quickly jumped out of his hand, then ran nearby and lay down on a stone the size of a human head. Bang! The stone was blasted into powder and pieces. How about it? Have you seen it? Not only is my bomb powerful, but it can also run over by itself. If this trick is used for assassination, it is impossible to guard against. A group of Xiaoqiang all stared at Dilla adoringly. And Deidara's complexion became more and more complacent. Hey, are you scared? This is the gap between me and you. Your simple bombs are incomparable to mine. I am the real master of blasting. However, Naruto couldn't help frowning slightly. Assassination? Doesn't that seem wrong? Deidara was stunned. What's wrong? It's just a head. Your head is too big, right? As long as you have eyes, you can see it, right? Saying that, Naruto spread his hands. If you want to use a concealed bomb, you should do it like me. Everyone took a closer look. Huh? Isn't there nothing here? Naruto, what are you showing us? Look at the air. Naruto-kun's palm print is really pretty. Seeing the puzzled faces of the crowd, Naruto raised his palm. Look closer, look carefully. Everyone quickly moved closer to take a closer look. Now, they finally saw something. What is this black spot? It's fleas. What's the situation? Is this flea real or fake? Could it be a flea bomb? No way. Fleas can also be made into bombs? Isn't this too small? Damn it. I thought the spider bomb was small enough, but Naruto you. I can't believe it, how could such a small thing be a bomb? Yes. This is too small. A group of Xiaoqiangs praised wildly, but also had doubts at the same time. This clay bomb is too small. Can a flea so big be a bomb? It's unbelievable, and for Deidara's side, he got it. What the hell? What's the situation? A flea the size of a bomb. How did he do it? True or false? However, although a group of people panicked, Deidara didn't show it on the surface, but said suspiciously. Concealment is enough, but it's so small, maybe it's not powerful enough? Everyone also looked at Naruto. Really? A bomb the size of a sesame seed. What power can it have? They looked at Naruto, waiting for Naruto to give them an answer. Naruto didn't speak, just smiled. Go. Talking. Everyone saw the flea bomb in Naruto's palm turned into a black dot and jumped off. Then, they lost sight of the fleas. It is too small. Almost not, however. The next second, boom. An 853 explosion sounded. Everyone was startled by the sudden explosion. They turned their heads and found that on the ground where Deidara blasted just now, there was another broken stone. Judging from the fragments, the volume of the original stone is close to the size of the stone that Deidara just blew up. This moment, everyone was stunned. Everyone's eyes widened in disbelief. This power is about the same as Deidara's spider bomb. It's F***king outrageous. A bomb the size of a flea can smash a rock? It's incredible. This is amazing. The size, concealment, sound, and guest aspects are all better than Dilla's spider bomb. It's too small, you can't see it at all. No matter how fried it is, you can't see it at all. Such a small size, the enemy can't find it at all. That's right. This kind of concealment, even Sharingan or Baian can't see it. Naruto-kun is really awesome. The volume is more than 10 times smaller than that of a spider, but the power is the same. It seems that Naruto's technology is still stronger. Everyone exclaimed wildly. They were all dumbfounded by Naruto's bomb. Deidara on the other side was even more stupidly stunned in place, completely unbelievable and completely bewildered. How is this possible? Such a small clay bomb is as powerful as my spider bomb. How did he do that? Deidara was completely in disarray. However, facing the cheers of the crowd, Naruto said with a frown on his face. What are you making such a fuss about? You can do it to this extent. A real assassination bomb is even smaller than this. Ding. Involution is successful. You have obtained 100 involution points. Ding. Involution is successful. You have obtained 100 involution points. Ding. Involution succeeded. You have obtained 100 involution points. Deidara was flustered. For a moment, he remembered the report from Black Zetsu that he had heard in the base before. This Uzumaki Naruto is a roll king. Now that I touch it, it seems to be a little bit. He just took out a bomb, and he has already started rolling. And even though he has already made a god-level product like a flea bomb, he still doesn't think it's enough. Damn it, I don't believe in evil. Hearing the cheers of Xiaoqiang, Deidara suddenly felt a sense of competitiveness. I am a master of demolition. I was just careless just now. As long as I use my favorite skills, I definitely won't win. HMPH, let you country bumpkins have a good look at what a masterpiece of a blasting master is. 2 steps forward, Deidara said with a look of disdain. The flea bombs were unexpected, but to this extent it was a gimmick. The next thing I'm going to show is a more advanced bomb. Look here. As he spoke, Deidara slid his hands into his side pockets. The mouth of the palm keeps swallowing the clay, and then processes it. After a while, he took out his hands and joined them together. The processed clay was quickly kneaded into a dragon model by him. Everyone watched his operation intently, full of curiosity in their hearts. Naruto didn't care. What Deidara can do, he even knows better than Deidara himself. After all, he has seen it all. Looking good. Deidara nodded in satisfaction, then threw the model out. The moment it was thrown out, the model grew rapidly. In the end, it turned into a giant dragon. Wow! Turned into a dragon. So big. What will it do? If it explodes directly, with such a large volume, I'm afraid it will be blown up around here, right? You see it has wings, can it fly? So hot. The corners of Deidara's mouth turned up, and he looked at Naruto with provocative eyes. Can it be done? This is the art of a blaster master? Naruto didn't respond, just looked at it calmly. This look made Deidara a little uncomfortable. But soon, it turned into excitement. HMPH, now is the only time when you can calm down. When you see what my dragon can do, you will be speechless in amazement. Keep your eyes open and watch. Talking. Deidara immediately controlled the dragon, flapped its wings, and slowly flew into the air. After flying tens of meters into the air, the flying dragon opened its mouth and spit out white clay bombs one after another. Boom, 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 boom. The roar continued. Accompanied by a strong explosive hurricane, fireballs rose up on the ground one after another. The Xiaoqiangs were blown up and down, but they stared at the giant dragon in the sky intently. So strong, it can spit clay bombs. It's really amazing. There is such a bomb. It's amazing. Listen to Xiaoqiang's flattery. Didera felt her dick was about to fly. Say more. Say more. Don't begrudge your compliments. I like listening to puff puff puff, rumble. C2 the dragon continuously spits out clay bombs. The surrounding ground was bombed all over. After some bombing, only then did the dragon stop. How about it? You can't make this kind of bomb, can you? Didera turned to look at Naruto, raised his chin and said proudly. C-series, this is his masterpiece. A novice like Naruto probably doesn't know how to make it. However, facing this shocking scene, Naruto just shook his head lightly and said, although you can't make the same thing, but you're kind of bomb, can't you? Hear this. Not to mention Didera, a group of Xiaoqiang also stared wide-eyed, terrified. It started again, isn't it? Choji swallowed nervously. Hearing this familiar tone, he knew that Naruto might start rolling again. Hey, what are you talking about? Didera's face darkened. Not to mention the slow speed, the flexibility is also not good. Is this altitude the highest it can fly? Flying so low, aren't you afraid of being shot down? If someone throws detonators from the ground into the sky, can they knock down your bomb? Didera's face froze, and then he said angrily. It's not that easy. And you said so much, it's all just guessing out of thin air. If you don't think it's okay, then you should make one. Okay, then I'll make one to open your eyes. Naruto said calmly. Didera panicked. What's the situation? Can he do it? No, impossible. C2 Dragon is already the perfect bomb, he can't make better than this. Naruto took out the clay from the bag and squeezed it with great speed. Then throw it into the sky. The white clay model grew rapidly, and then turned into a strange thing. It has a slightly plump barrel body, its wings look extremely stiff, and there are cylindrical objects under the wings. In the stomach, there is also a door that can be opened. In general, this model has never been seen by anyone. Didera looked at it and frowned. Then he said with some surprise. What is your thing? Can it fly? The Xiaoqiangs were also full of doubts. What is this? I don't think I've seen this thing before. It feels like some kind of bird I haven't seen before. Is this thing also hollow? It seems that the stomach can be opened. It doesn't look like a bird. Why are its wings not moving? Everyone was puzzled, and they didn't know the bomb made by Naruto at all. But it doesn't bother them either, because the shape of this bomb is not something from the ninja world at all, but a bomber in modern society. With the thought, Naruto's bomb immediately flew into the sky. Very fast, and keep rising, fly far away in the blink of an eye. Fly so high, I'm going. The speed is so fast, why so fast? And it's so flexible and can rotate, fly upside down. Didera and Xiaoqiang were dumbfounded. In the beginning, Naruto made no movement with the clay bomb. They also wondered what it was. The bird was not like a bird, and the dragon was not like a dragon. As a result, it immediately flew out at an extremely fast speed. Almost past Didera's dragon in the blink of an eye, and flew into the sky hundreds of meters. What exactly is this? Didera's legs can't help swinging, and her voice is trembling. The performance of this bomb is simply terrible. Obviously in the sky, but the speed is as fast as lightning. Compared with his giant dragon, it is like a classic machine. Fly slow and low. Naruto crossed his arms and said calmly. B2 Bomber. As soon as the name came out, Didera was even more puzzled. Boom, bomber? What it is? Naruto smiled slightly. You'll find out after a while. In the sky, the hatch of the B2 bomber opens. Cylindrical clay bombs were dropped parabolically. This mode of operation, it has the same effect as the C2 dragon. Boom, 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 boom. A series of rhythmic roars came. Small mushroom clouds popped up on the ground, and their power was even worse than that of the previous C2 dragon. Hey guy, this thing can also field bombs. Shikamaru was the first to discover the strangeness of the bomber. And this height is too high. At a height of hundreds of meters, it is almost invisible to the naked eye. Hear him say that. For the other Xiaoqiangs, he suddenly exclaimed. That's right. This thing takes off so fast, no one can catch up to it. And the height is exaggerated. With such a high distance, I'm afraid no one can threaten it. I can't see where the bombs are thrown from. If there are too many, I'm afraid it will cause destruction on the battlefield. It's much stronger than the giant dragon Wei, Nuo Hao, just now. Although Xiaoqiang didn't understand the principle of the stealth bomber, they were shocked after seeing Naruto's bomber in action. At this moment, Deidara was completely dumbfounded. Compared with the B2 bomber, his dragon is really bad. Flying low, it is easy to be attacked. Throwing bombs is not as dense and uncertain as a bomber. Because his dragon bomb is too low, the route is easy to see and the enemy can avoid it. And most importantly, the speed difference is too much. If they compete on the same stage, their own giant dragon may not even be able to eat the opponent's exhaust gas. Power, flexibility, precision, blown away in every way. Deidara felt that he had completely lost this wave. But it's not over yet. There is more than one kind of C2 dragon in your own bomb. Bombing type, just one of them, Boom Committee. Deidara controls the dragon and detonates it directly in the air. Then anxiously ran to Naruto. This is just the beginning, I still have some special skills. Naruto raised his eyebrows slightly and said, any other novel tricks? Deidara was furious. But he immediately adjusted his mentality. Then keep your eyes open. My number 18, C3 18th. This is the strongest bomb that Deidara has mastered so far. After some tinkering, Deidara first made a big bird. Then he took the big bird and flew into the sky, and ran to a farther place. The explosion on the 18th was wide-ranging. He was afraid that Naruto and the others would be blown up. However, this move of his made the Xiaoqiangs full of curiosity. This guy turned into a bird again. What is he going to do? Did you think you were no match for Naruto, so you ran away with your tail between your legs? Isn't it? Seeing how triumphant he looks, he must be a very powerful bomb. Is there any bomb more powerful than a bomber? It's so far away. A group of little strongmen exclaimed wildly. Deidara's side continued to fly. 1 minute, 2 minutes. It flew for 5 full minutes. He finally reached the target area. HMPH, a group of brats, let me show you, my uncle's super art. Talking. A bomb mixed with its own highest level chakra was slowly thrown by Deidara. Wait, take a look. It looks like something fell off. Looks like a clay bomb. A few sharp-eyed little ghosts of the Hyuga family saw the unusual bomb with their supercilious eyes. Packed with a high concentration of chakra. Next second. Boom! A huge explosion exploded in the distance. The flames are monstrous. Raise a mighty hurricane. The entire ground is surrounded by countless flowers, plants, trees and soil. A mushroom cloud rises, even at such a long distance. The deafening roar, as well as the shockwave visible to the naked eye, also reached Naruto and their 277 side. Everyone had to cover their ears and looked at the slowly rising mushroom cloud in shock. Deidara flew back on his big bird, proudly. He folded his hands over his chest, and his nose was going up to the sky. He jumped off the flying bird and came to Naruto with arrogant steps. Everyone can only see his 2 nostrils. See you kiddos? This is my ultimate art $3 E. Isn't the power amazing? A group of Xiaoqiang swallowed their saliva in surprise and nodded frantically. Yes, it's really strong. Is this his true strength? It's too scary. As expected of an explosion expert, it's amazing. With a bomb of this level, a whole village might be blown up. It's too exaggerated. It's impossible for anyone to bear this level. Seeing a group of Xiaoqiang being shocked one after another, Deidara was overjoyed and drifted more and more. He tilted his head back as hard as he could, looking down at Naruto. How is it? Isn't it very moving? It's the ultimate art that you can't necessarily make in your lifetime. Repent, cry, and surrender to me, ha 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 ha. However, this bomb seems like that. Naruto shook his head and said disdainfully. Seeing Naruto's utter disdain, Deidara was a little confused. Hey, do you think this level of bomb is not good? Are you kidding me? Naruto shook his head. No, I'm not joking. Deidara was a little angry. He pointed at Naruto angrily and said loudly. Since you have said so much, then you should come up with a bomb that is as powerful as my number 18, AFCE. If you can't take it out, it means you are worse than me. You have to apologize to me, Naruto shrugged and said calmly. Since you think so, I'll let you take a look. As he said that, Naruto took out the clay and began to concentrate on holding the bomb. In his opinion, although Deidara's number 18 is very powerful, it still has many fatal weaknesses. Like mobility, such a powerful bomb is still thrown from the hand like a firecracker. Speed, track. It's like child's play. In the original book, Deidara was able to capture Gaara through this. Totally bullying Gaara has no sense of fighting. If Gaara understands the essence of interception, and shoots number 18 directly in the air, or uses sand to fix the bomb in the air, instead of using up all chakra and covering the village, then Deidara will not be able to threaten Sanagakure people. There's no way he was caught for that, can only say. Gaara is still too young, but Naruto is different. Because the standard of Naruto's internal scrolling is not the standard of the ninja world, but the standard of modern hot weapons. What is the most important thing about bombs? In addition to power, it is speed and vehicles. The warhead mounted on the J-20 must be stronger than that of the J-10, right? Unable to be intercepted is the key to the bomb. Soon, he made a model, then threw it on the ground. The clay model activates and gradually grows larger. It became a rectangle 5 meters long, 3 meters wide, and 4 meters high. There are several circular potholes in the front section. It can be vaguely seen that there seems to be a sharp columnar object in the pothole. Seeing that Naruto made another inexplicable thing, everyone was dumbfounded again. Deidara asked blankly, pointing at it. You, what are you? Isn't this just a box? Having said that, Deidara regained his confidence. Is this the bomb you said was comparable to the 18th? Stop kidding. What can this thing do? If you explode here, aren't you afraid of killing them all? The Shaoqiangs were also full of curiosity. Look left and right around this rectangular clay model. Like a group of curious babies. Is this a box? What's in it? There seems to be something in the pit in front, and I can't see it clearly. It looks like a long cylinder. Is that a bomb? Can this thing be stronger than the one just now? Seeing Naruto's silence, Deidara became a little anxious. Hey, do you want to say something? Take out an inexplicable box and want to compare it with my number 18? Don't be wishful thinking. Number 18 is the ultimate art, and an ugly box like yours is simply inferior. Naruto glanced at him, restrained the smile on his face, and said calmly. Really? Do you think this bomb is inferior to yours? Deidara's anger surged up. Certainly, Naruto smiled, and then, took the start button. In an instant, the cuboid suddenly started. The front end of the part with the round hole rose slowly, while Naruto looked at the distant mountain peaks and calculated the height and wind direction at high altitude. Then adjust the angle manually. It moved. I don't know why, but I feel so handsome. Can it move? What else can it do? Isn't there a bomb about to be fired in that round hole? Huh? The bomb can still be launched like this? Isn't it thrown by hand? That's right. No one or a bomber will bring the bomb there, so how will the bomb be launched? This. Seeing Naruto's movements, the group of people suddenly became tense. Sasuke swallowed nervously. Little Sakura and Ino even covered their mouths to keep from making noise. The previous B-2 bombers dropped bombs and could hit targets within a certain range by flying. Then the missile launch pad this time can precisely hit all targets within a certain distance by standing in place. The preparations are ready, everyone, please don't blink your eyes. Naruto explained silently. Then, with a slap of the hand, chakra injected into the launch pad, activating the bomb. Laugh. Whoosh. There was a chirping sound of ignition. Then, like a monkey cannon that shot through the sky, a loud piercing sound came out. A streamlined object with a conical front end full of streamlines, a cylindrical middle and rear section, and a streamlined object with flames spraying from the tail, flew out at an extremely fast speed. What is this? It came out. Bombs are coming out of this box. Everyone stared blankly at the missile flying away. Very fast. The distance of several kilometers can be crossed in just 10 seconds. Everyone's eyes moved with the missile, until watching the missile that turned into a small point land on a 100-meter high mountain peak. For a moment, the world is quiet. Everyone saw only a flash of white light. Then, the sound followed, boom, accompanied by a strong shock wave. Even at a distance of several kilometers, the power of the shock wave is still extremely powerful. And under the towering mushroom cloud, that 100-meter high mountain has already disappeared. One strike, just one shell directly blasted a mountain down. This moment, the Xiaoqiangs in the whole scene erupted into violent exclamations. Wow! This is too strong. It actually blew up the entire mountain. This is too scary. One bomb will destroy a mountain, it's so exciting. This bomb technique is much better than Deidara's just now. It took 5 or 6 minutes for Deidara to fly over, but Naruto's bomb took less than 20 seconds from launching to exploding. That's right. Deidara's bomb has to be dropped by himself, but Naruto can actually launch it on the spot. Shoot the enemy to death directly before the enemy attacks. It's so shocking. Can explosive ninjutsu still be played like this? It's so strong. It's so handsome. This kind of bomb is simply beyond the scope of my cognition. It can strike a target several kilometers away in place. This is simply a miracle. At this moment, all the people on the scene opened their eyes wide and excited. Deidara was also dumbfounded. The mouth opened, as if to dislocate the lower jaw, unable to close it for a long time. Explosive ninjutsu can still be played like this. What kind of routine is this? I have never seen it before. He can still understand the B-2 bomber just now, because the type of bomb is similar to his dragon. At best, it just optimizes the plan, speeds up faster, and flies higher. But now, TMD launch in place, a blow beyond visual distance? 20 seconds to hit a target that took me 5 minutes to hit. This is too scary. After a long silence, Deidara silently swallowed a mouthful of saliva, turned her head and stared blankly at Naruto. It turns out that this is the true meaning of the blasting technique. Fortunately, I am still complacent, thinking that my number 18 is the most outstanding art. Compared to Naruto's missile launcher, 18 is nothing but rubbish. Missile launchers are the ultimate art. He staggered forward a few steps. Deidara reached out with trembling hands and placed them on the shell of the transmitter. It was originally an unremarkable rectangular box. In his eyes now, it is like the most precious treasure in the world. His body was trembling because of the excited mood. His voice was trembling too. This is the ultimate art. Deidara was intoxicated. Every pore of the whole body is subject to Naruto's technology. However, a calm voice suddenly entered his ears. The ultimate art? I said, do you have some misunderstandings about the ultimate? Deidara regained his senses and turned to look at Naruto. At this time, Naruto's expression was still shocked, but his eyes were somewhat complicated. Any questions? Deidara took a deep breath and spoke slowly. This is the most perfect explosive ninjutsu. You are very powerful. I have never seen such a strong blasting master like you. Perhaps, you have already reached the pinnacle of a blasting master. In this world, there will be no one stronger than you. To be honest, to be able to say these words, Deidara also struggled a lot. You must know that in the past, it was impossible for him to praise other people. But now, facing Naruto godlike art, he wants to refuse to admit defeat, and his dignity will not allow it. However, facing Deidara's convinced look, Naruto frowned and said in puzzlement. What nonsense are you talking about? Deidara was taken aback. Nonsense? Where am I talking nonsense? Naruto shook his head and put his hands on the turret. Where is this? Blasting is an ultimate art, and it connects the gate of truth. I'm only just getting started on this quest for truth. And these bombs are just the end of a small fork in the road. The art of blasting is worth pursuing in a lifetime. Don't you misunderstand this sacred path. Next, whether it's you or me, there is still a long way to go. Naruto's words. The wording is sincere, without the slightest extreme or mystifying meaning. However, for Deidara at the moment, it was like a blockbuster bomb that exploded directly in his heart. At this moment, Deidara only has 2 words in his heart, shocking. Did not expect. In terms of ideological realm, there is such a huge gap between him and Naruto. He thought that number 18 was the ultimate art. For this reason, I have been complacent and interviewed everyone. But Naruto's blasting technique beat him completely in every aspect. But he said that this is actually just a small fork in the road of blasting, a small achievement. What a majestic state of mind is this? Perhaps it is this gap that creates the contrast between the two at this time. Big Master. Deidara clattered and directly bowed deeply to Naruto. Everyone was taken aback. What is he doing? Why did you suddenly lower your waist? I don't know, did you get too stimulated? But isn't that how Naruto usually talks? Is this unbearable? So you still claim to be a blasting expert? No, you may have misunderstood. In our eyes, Naruto is introverted, but in Deidara's eyes, Naruto is now a master. Deidara ignored the loud voices in his ears. This moment. He only has Naruto in his eyes. The image of Naruto at this time is like the incarnation of demolition god left in the world. Full of brilliance, justice, greatness. He seemed to see the holy light in Naruto and felt the holiness. Senior Naruto, please accept me as an apprentice. Please lead me to the broad road full of hope. I want to work with you to pursue the ultimate art of blasting. With tears in her eyes, Deidara held Naruto's hands tightly. He completely realized it. Through Naruto, he felt the light of the blasting road shining on him. If you are with him, maybe I can really reach the end of art. Seeing this scene, the Xiaoqiangs on the side were also dumbfounded. Didn't this person still be arrogant just now? Why did you suddenly kneel down to worship the master? Is this so silky? Good guy, join if you can't beat it. It seems that these art people are all crazy. Looking at Deidara with tears in his eyes, Naruto frowned slightly and thought for a while. Although I now have a few low-level ninjutsu in my hands, the threats in the ninja world are far more than these. Xiao organization is one of them. If Deidara can be subdued and placed as an undercover agent, it will be beneficial to his future actions. After a few seconds of silence, Naruto said reluctantly. Although you are not from Konoha, since you are so sincere and devoted your whole life to the art of blasting, you are really a rare talent. Then I'll accept you. When Deidara heard Naruto's promise, she immediately nodded with joy. Thank you, Master. This disciple must work hard to practice, reach the pinnacle of blasting as soon as possible. The country of rain. The patter of raindrops fell from the sky. On the top of the humanoid statue, Tiandao Pain sat there. He turned a blind eye to the rainwater falling on his body. He just watched the village silently. Under his governance, there was no fighting in this village. Any fight will be noticed by him. He wants to create a world without war. Therefore, the village under his rule naturally cannot have any fights. This is to carry out the will of a dead friend. For this, he did not hesitate to pay any price. Swipe, swipe, swipe. Some other sounds were mixed in with the sound of the rain. 0. Seeking flowers. That voice was very familiar to Pain. Know who it is without looking back. What's up? He asked lightly. Behind him, turned into paper, the mutilated hut said indifferently. There's something going on that might require you to go down and see. Pain frowned slightly. What will happen at this time? Is Deidara back? But, why didn't I find it? Or is there something wrong with him? with doubts. Pain and Conan came to the base inside the statue. The current Akatsuki members are all there. Except Deidara. They saw Conan bring Pen down. The previous discussion was stopped immediately. Black Zetsu came up and said lightly, "Pen, Deidara has been gone for 2 weeks." Pain frowned slightly. "Has it been 2 weeks? Where is he now?" Ju shook his head. "That's the problem." Hidan spread his hands and said, "This guy went out for 2 weeks and didn't even bring back a message, so something went wrong." Point 0. Maybe that guy has already been caught by Konoha's people and is being tortured. Kakuzu said coldly, "It shouldn't be possible." Scorpion rubbed his chin. Although Deidara's ninjutsu and taijutsu are mediocre, his explosive ninjutsu is unmatched in the whole ninjutsu world. Maybe this guy couldn't hold back and blew Konoha up. Maybe. It's impossible. If something like this happens, the news will definitely spread throughout the ninja world. White Zetsu shook his head decisively. When everyone thought about it, it was true. After some silence. In the end, Pain stood up. "Anyway, Deidara is also our companion. It is really unbelievable that there has been no news for 2 consecutive weeks. Now the priority is to get him back. Which of you wants to go?" As he said that, Pain's eyes began to scan among the members. It locked onto Kakuzu in an instant. "I?" Kakuzu shook his head and said, "I'm not interested in whether that guy is dead or alive. If it's just such trivial things as finding someone, don't bother me to make money." The voice fell. Kakuzu turned and left. Fei Duanyi pursed his lips in boredom, and quickly followed Kakuzu. "Then I will follow brother Kakuzu too." He is now a team with Kakuzu, known as the Undead Duo by Scorpion. The key is that he doesn't want to do such a thing as finding someone, it's better to kill people. Pain's eyes fell on Scorpion's head again. "My body is not suitable for finding people." Scorpion shrugged. "If there is nothing else, I will leave first. If you find that guy Deidara's body, don't deal with it. Leave it to me to make a puppet." Scorpion's eyes flicked to Conan and Pain. The greed in his eyes flashed away. Then turned around and left. "It seems that you still need to go out." Pain thought so, and looked up at Ju. "Geez, you go there." Black Zetsu sighed helplessly, then silently drilled into the ground. How long have I been back?" "Thor. Fire Nation, Konoha Village." At this time, not far from the forest outside the village, an uninvited guest came over quietly. He has a half-black and half-white body, with a pitcher plant on his head. It was a must-have been sent by Pain. Because of his unique physique, Ju's escaping from the ground is very fast. The speed of movement is also very fast, and the concealment is extremely strong. Therefore, general investigation tasks will be handed over to Ju Lai. It's really troublesome to come to this place again. White Zetsu looked helpless. "Last time, I managed to complete the surveillance and go back to the organization." Pain also understood himself and sent Deidara to investigate. Unexpectedly, Deidara, whom he trusted, fell down. Black Zetsu. "Is there any way to do this? If Deidara falls into the opponent's hands, it will be troublesome, and we may have to come forward to kill him." Black Zetsu silently observed the road conditions. "No, Deidara has bombs all over his body, so it's impossible to be caught. I suspect that he is a traitor." No, this is unlikely. After all, he has no reason to defect to Konoha." "Could it be that he was killed?" "This is somewhat possible. Although his blasting skills are quite powerful, but Konoha has a lot of talents, it is also possible for him to be killed. Speaking of which, there aren't many Konohas who can kill Deidara in June 20th, right? I heard that Jiraiya, one of the Sannin, is back. Could it be him who did it?" White Zetsu is like a chatterbox, talking to himself constantly. Black Zetsu couldn't bear it anymore, and cursed helplessly. "Can you shut up?" Black Zetsu looked blank. If it wasn't for the disguise, he would never have acted with White Zetsu. There is just too much nonsense. The key is that every White Zetsu is a chatterbox. He can't change people even if he wants to. By the way, if Deidara really betrayed, would you like to inform Obito? This kind of thing happened in the organization. Maybe he needs to come back to preside over the overall situation. Black Zetsu was silent for a while, then shook his head and said, "It's not sure yet, let's wait until the time to see the situation." Black Zetsu was also a little distressed. A member who has just been recruited and hasn't stayed for long. As a result, this kind of thing happened. It's really annoying. The key is not yet sure about the specific situation. It's hard for him to judge. The most important thing now is to find Didala's location. At this moment, boom! There was a loud bang. A sudden explosion startled both Black Zetsu and White Zetsu. Is this an explosion? Could it be Didara? White Zetsu quickly judged the direction and distance of the sound. Whether it is or not, go and see the situation first. Black Zetsu said in a deep voice, then drill directly into the ground. Fly through the ground with the mayfly technique. Almost in the blink of an eye, they came to the vicinity of the sound. Quietly got out from behind a tree. Black Zetsu and White Zetsu carefully looked out. It's Konoha's brats. Black Zetsu frowned. But White Zetsu was surprised to find something strange. What are they doing? Wait, isn't that what they're holding, clay? I remember, Didara's explosive ninjutsu is made of clay, right? Hearing that, Black Zetsu's face darkened immediately. Hurry up and observe. Tooth, your power is too small, look at mine. Little Sakura threw the clay spider in her hand. Under her control, the clay spider accurately ran onto a stone the size of a human head. Bang! The stone shattered in an instant and shattered into a pile of dregs. This power? Black Zetsu was shocked. White Zetsu's eyes widened even more. Almost as powerful as Didara. What is the origin of this little girl? No, who are these children? Why did they know the blasting technique that Tiantian pulled? This discovery is really full of too many doubts. Black Zetsu's face was as gloomy as water, as if ink was about to drip out. What is this? What's the situation? Is this Didara really a traitor? And, come here to Konoha village to teach Shaoxing blast ninjutsu? For a moment, various worst-case scenarios flashed through Black Zetsu's mind. For example, Didara betrayed, or Didara was brainwashed, or Didara was forced to hand over his unique skills. Either way, it's a major crisis for Akatsuki and Black Zetsu's plans. Perhaps, we really need to find Obito back. Black Zetsu was slightly stunned, his mind was in a mess. However, at this moment, White Zetsu suddenly let out an exclamation, which brought him back to his senses. Etc. So, is that Didara? Why is he here? Startled, Black Zetsu slammed at the head of the stage. Following White Zetsu's gaze, I saw Didara's figure. And Didara is standing beside the target he should be watching, Uzumaki Naruto. What the hell is it? Why does Didara get along so well with those kids? He really betrayed? Come to Konoha to be a teacher? But why? White Zetsu rubbed his eyes hard, unable to believe what he saw. He also thought he wanted to find Didara so much that he hallucinated. However, Didara really stood very clearly not far away. He was not mistaken. Sakura, you just did something wrong, let me show you. Didara walked over and taught little Sakura hand in hand. See this scene? The two were absolutely dumbfounded. This is too ridiculous. Didara, what are you doing? Why are you mixing with surveillance targets? Did you forget your mission? Why did you come to be a teacher? Two absolutes, people are numb. Before coming, they made all kinds of bad plans. For example, Didara was captured, Didara was killed, Didara rebelled. But they never imagined that Didara is here to teach Xiaoqiang to blast ninja. However, before the two of them understood what had happened, in the next second, the screen that appeared on the scene made it difficult for both of them to connect clearly. I saw after teaching little Sakura. Didara smiled complacently, then her face changed, and she bent slightly to Naruto's side. What do you think? Master Naruto? Naruto nodded lightly and said. It's okay, although there is still a lot of room for improvement, but considering that you have studied for several years to reach this level of talent, it's not bad now. Didara said excitedly, Thank you, master, for the compliment. Seeing this scene, the two masters hiding in the dark are all stupid. I rely on. What's going on? Deidara, what do you call him? Master. Your name is Master Naruto? What the hell happened here? White Zetsu only feels suspicious of life, and his three views are shattered. And Black Zetsu, although countless words came from his throat, but he didn't know how to say it. This is so f***ed up. I thought Deidara was here to teach Xiaoqiang. Result. He is not a teacher, and, less than. The key is to worship Naruto as a teacher, Papa. Naruto raised his hands high and took several shots to attract Xiaoqiang's attention. Alright, today's teaching ends here. Let's disband, go home and be safe. Talking. A group of Xiaoqiang chatted with each other and soon dispersed. And Deidara also left directly with several Xiaoqiangs. It's as if he didn't think of himself as an outsider. Soon there were only two unique characters hiding in the dark. This. What a hell. White Zetsu gasped and cursed. He worked hard to calm his beating heart. Why does Deidara call Naruto master? Is he learning blast ninjutsu from Naruto? Strange, really weird? White Zetsu yelled, with a broken face. Black Zetsu also felt something was wrong. It's so wicked, totally unreasonable development. However, there must be his reasons for being an apprentice. If you want to know the answer, it seems that you can only observe it. Black Zetsu's heart was about to collapse. The last time was because of monitoring Naruto, which made him physically and mentally exhausted. I didn't expect to have to continue this time. I have been unlucky for several lifetimes, and this kind of thing will happen to the group. He swallowed painfully. Black Zetsu immediately drilled into the ground and sneaked towards the village quickly. A quiet night passed. It was just dawn. Naruto walked out of the house fully dressed, and Hiro immediately ran towards the forest outside the village. Absolutely hurry to keep up. But Naruto's speed is too fast, even with the mayfly technique, he almost lost it. Fortunately, when the trace of Naruto 1.8 was about to be lost, Naruto arrived at his destination. Fortunately, if I go a little further, I'm afraid I'll lose it. White Zetsu exhaled. Black Zetsu looked at Naruto not far ahead without saying a word. Inwardly, he muttered to himself, just let me see what makes Deidara a teacher. Soon, Naruto started to move. I saw him raise one hand and point to a stone in the distance. Huh? What is his posture? Hand out. Dot, are you guiding something? The two were extremely surprised. Subconsciously, most of the body was submerged into the tree trunk, only a head was exposed. The next moment, Naruto's eyes froze. Boom. Very abrupt. A stone exploded silently, turning into powder all over the place. See this scene. Black Zetsu's shocked eyes almost popped out of their sockets. White Zetsu also covered his mouth and couldn't help exclaiming in a low voice. What is this? Why did it explode all of a sudden? He obviously didn't use clay bombs just now. What's going on here? Doesn't the demolition technique need clay bombs? How the hell did he do that? It's just too weird. Both of them had doubts on their faces. Naruto stood there just like that, with his right palm open, aiming at the front and back. The rock exploded on its own. This is simply unbelievable. Damn it, it's not enough. Naruto sighed helplessly, although the first trial was successful. But he wasn't satisfied at all. This brand new blasting technique was newly rolled out by him. Although his explosive ninjutsu is strong enough, but a group of clones is not enough, because they think there is still a little more to continue rolling. That is convenience. The blasting technique popular in the ninja world now relies on clay. If there is not enough clay prepared, once it is needed, it is likely that the clay will not be enough to perform the blasting technique. In the original book, Deidara encounters this situation several times. I think I have brought enough clay, but the plan can't keep up with the changes. Clay quantities can be depleted quickly. Then you will enter the embarrassing situation where there is no clay available. Moreover, since it is going to be blasted, why can't it be blasted directly like ninjutsu? Why do you have to go through the process of kneading clay? After having this idea, the Avatar Brigade immediately improved the blasting technique. After the efforts of the 3000 Avatar Brigade, they finally got rid of the shackles of clay. Just control chakra to reach the target position, then let chakra infiltrate or cover the target, and detonate directly. Thus, the simplest and most convenient blasting technique is completed. Bang, bang, bang. Naruto continues to control chakra, attaching to the stone not far away to blast 07. Several stones were broken into powder one after another. The smallest is the size of a human head, and the largest is as tall as a human. This weird and thoughtful method has completely made him look stupid. What did this guy do? Directly controlling chakra to attach to it can cause an explosion. It's still like this. It's unheard of. Yes, it is not only silent, but also extremely practical. I'm afraid that except for those sentient ninjas, no one can escape this sneak attack. He definitely has the eyesight of 1,000 years. After some observation, I can still see the technical principle of Naruto. But knowing the principle, he is so scared, because the technique practiced by Naruto is simply the legendary explosion style. Moreover, it is still a silent sneak attack version. The ground that was extremely safe 1 second might turn into a deadly landmine the next. When the time comes, I don't know how to die. Black Zetsu looked at Naruto apprehensively. Unexpectedly, after not seeing him for a while, he actually practiced such a terrifying blasting technique again. There is no doubt that this is also an S-rank ninjutsu. Just when the two absolutely felt that it was difficult to deal with. Okay? Black Zetsu was taken aback suddenly. Because he actually saw Naruto sigh deeply, with a trace of disappointment on his face. It seems that he is very dissatisfied. What happened? He moved closer. Naruto's slight murmur reached his ears. No, this level is far from enough, it's too far away. Not at all, not at all. 1+. Black Zetsu almost didn't come up in one breath. What the hell? This has reached the level of being able to blow people up silently. What else are you dissatisfied with? This kind of hidden blasting ninjutsu, probably few people in the entire ninja world can avoid it. You still don't think it's enough? What is it that makes you so dissatisfied? Black Zetsu understood this. Uzumaki Naruto seems to have underfire syndrome and persecution paranoia. His way of thinking is completely different from ordinary people. Ordinary people think that the same things are never enough for him. Any ninjutsu in his hands, he will develop it to the ultimate, and even break through the limit. It is really the king of scrolls, because it is scrolled. Sigh. My talent is really bad, and it's just a waste of time to continue practicing. Let's summarize the situation first, and then think about how to improve it. Well, let's have breakfast first, I'm hungry. Go to Ichiraku Ramen today, haven't eaten in a long time. Ding. Involution is successful. You have obtained 1000 involution points. Ding. Involution is successful. You have obtained 1000 involution points. Listening to the prompts of the system, Naruto was expressionless. He naturally knew that Ju was coming, but he didn't puncture it. Because it wouldn't do him any good to puncture it. It's better to hang Ju here, and it's not bad to use it to brush up the involution value for him. The day passed quickly. Never have been following Naruto, staring in the dark. He really wanted to run up to Naruto, grab him and question him, what's wrong with your blasting technique? But this is certainly impossible, so I can only scratch my head in a hurry, but there is nothing I can do. Suppressing the curiosity like a cat scratching in my heart, I endured until dawn. Naruto set off early again. Ju immediately regained his energy and quickly followed. It's still the same place as yesterday. Naruto strikes that pose again. Or the stone suffered, was blasted to pieces. Ju stared at it, and found that the stone was broken into smaller pieces, and there was no difference from yesterday. This power should be enough, right? Is it all blown into powder? White Zetsu complained silently, and Black Zetsu thought the same in his heart. This power is obviously stronger than yesterday. However, damn it, it's still not enough, far from enough. Naruto knelt down on one knee, full of unwillingness and dissatisfaction, and punched the ground heavily. With this punch, the fist even sank into the ground. Hear this. Almost a mouthful of old blood didn't come out. What on earth are you going to do? Why are you still not satisfied with this perfect explosive ninjutsu? What kind of monster is your imaginary enemy? Even Deidara is far inferior to this level of blasting technique. Black Zetsu screamed frantically in his heart. But White Zetsu is about to grind his teeth too. However, they still haven't figured it out. At last, Naruto left anyway, same schedule as yesterday. Absolutely followed behind Naruto silently. Another night of tormented waiting. The third day, every day, absolutely watched Naruto silently. But every day, Naruto looks sad, angry and helpless. Even stones can be easily blown into powder, but he still feels that it is not enough. Black Zetsu really scratched his feet and couldn't figure it out. Where does he feel that he is not enough? Time slipped away. Finally a week has passed. Even Black Zetsu, who can sleep without rest, has tiredness written all over his face at the moment. His spirit suffered the cruelest torture. This time, it's more ruthless than last time. Because of Black Zetsu this time, I don't even know what Naruto wants to do. I don't know what he wants to practice this technique. With a haggard face, Ju silently followed behind Naruto. He is just following instinctively now. His mind has been completely rigid, and he has temporarily lost the ability to think. No, if I continue, I'm afraid I will have a problem first. Black Zetsu shook his head abruptly. He looked up at Naruto's back with extremely complicated eyes. He still has a lot of things to do, and he can't let himself get stuck here. If this causes his plan to fail, then he needs to wait for hundreds of years, or even thousands of years, before he can wait for the time to execute his plan. With the idea of the last day of surveillance, Ju looked indifferently at Naruto not far away. Naruto strikes that pose again. This pose has definitely been seen countless times and Naruto's shape has even been deeply engraved in my mind. 190. I can't forget it even if I want to. Boom. There was a slight explosion. The stone in the distance trembled slightly, flew up 2 or 3 centimeters, and then fell to the ground again. Okay. Ju looked at the stone with a strange expression on his face. Full of doubts. What happened? A failure this time? A dud? Why didn't even the stone explode? Absolutely surprised. However, at this moment, Naruto's cheers suddenly reached his ears. Success, success, finally, success, great, it's finally done. Hear this. The one next to him was stunned. My mind is full of question marks. What's the situation? Success? This time it was clearly a dud. Why did he say success and still cheer so happily? Everyone is numb. It's like countless ants are crawling all over. He wants to rush over now. Take a close look at that rock. Go. Naruto, go. I want to see what's going on. I waited anxiously for 7 or 8 minutes. My patience is almost at the limit, and Naruto finally let out a sigh of satisfaction and left. Wait until Naruto's footsteps are completely inaudible. It drilled into the ground in an instant, and then drilled out next to the blasted stone. He crouched down and took a closer look. Just a glance. Ju opened his mouth wide and stood there in shock, as if he had been struck by lightning. He couldn't move at all. Because the stone that Naruto aimed at this time did not explode. But on one side of the stone, there are 4 very familiar head sculptures. They are first Hokage, second Hokage, third Hokage, and fourth Hokage. A smaller version of Konoha's Hokage rock. Naruto even exploded a miniature version of the Hokage rock. This is so. This is really exaggerated. Hokage rock? He actually blew up a smaller version of Hokage rock? The blasting technique can still achieve this level. Both of them, with their eyes wide open, trembling all over, were completely shocked. This is too scary. He never knew what Naruto was practicing here. I don't know what Naruto is dissatisfied with. But when they saw this stone, everyone went numb. Naruto is doing such insane things. Co-author Naruto is no longer pursuing the power or accuracy of blasting techniques, but is doing this kind of thing, which is completely beyond his cognition. This moment, There is nothing but shock in my heart. He stared blankly at Naruto's disappearing figure, like a foolish lookout stone. Even if he couldn't see Naruto's back, he didn't move for a long time. After a while, Ju Kai sighed and put away all the stones on the ground. I didn't expect that he would be able to do this. Is this guy really a human? Is he really a human? Black Zetsu questioned himself frantically. Anyway, he is also an old monster who has lived for more than 1,000 years. In this long history, he has seen countless geniuses and wizards, but never seen anything like Naruto. What the hell? Not human at all. It's a monster, a monster. After cleaning up his traces, Ju looked desperate, and after a sigh, he immediately accelerated towards the Land of Rain. Must go back quickly, because something big happened again. Naruto rolled out a Super S-rank ninjutsu again. Land of Rain, Akatsuki organization, on top of the humanoid statue. Fine raindrops fell. It doesn't even feel like it's falling on people. The rain was so slight, but it reflected everything in Rain Shinobi Village in Pain's mind. He stood on top of the humanoid statue, frowning and looking into the distance. Absolutely has been gone for a week. Could it be that there was also an accident? Pain's nerves tensed up slightly. If an intruder appears later, he will definitely be able to spot it immediately. Sudden. He moved his ears slightly and heard a very small sound. He slowly raised his head, looked at the sky covered by dark clouds, and let out a sigh. Is it good news, or bad news? He didn't look at the person coming. After all, a real god can know who the other party is without looking back. Conan said lightly. A good news and a bad news. Pain frowned slightly. Tell me. Conan nodded. The good news is that Ju is back. What about the bad news? The bad news is that Deidara is not coming back. Pain frowned. What's the situation? Deidara never came back. What happened? Go on and talk. Inside the humanoid statue is the base of the Akatsuki organization. The air at this time seemed a little dignified. Kakuzu, Hidan, and Scorpion stand together, on the opposite side as Ju, who just returned. The three looked at Ju with unfriendly eyes. The reason is that what this guy said is too outrageous. Absolutely. Did you wander outside and didn't complete the quest? If you want to make up a reason, please find a decent reason. Deidara is a child. Do you think this can happen? Scorpion said with a dark face. I think this is definitely the same as Deidara. He was brainwashed and betrayed the organization. This time he came back to be a spy. Tell me honestly what you have experienced in the past few days, and don't force us to commit crimes against you. Hidan walked over arrogantly, carrying a sickle. Facing the attitude of several people, almost rolled my eyes. Betray? You bastards are all betrayed, and Lousy can't be betrayed. Because Lousy is the real mastermind behind the scenes. That it is impossible to tell the truth, because the truth is. After monitoring Naruto for a week, and seeing Naruto's Super S-rank ninja, he was overly shocked and rushed back to report for a while and forgot about Deidara. No wonder. After all, Ju ran to Konoha and saw Deidara on the first day. But for more than a week later, he was monitoring Naruto the whole time. Without being reminded by these guys, he even forgot that his mission this time is to go out and find Deidara. Not long. The sound of paper fluttering attracted everyone's attention. They are very clear. What does it mean to hear the sound of paper fluttering here? Turn around and look. Sure enough, it was Conan, and Pain, who was walking in front of her with a blank face. I am back. Black Zetsu said lightly. Pain nodded silently. Well, how is the situation? Ju sighed, and said with a strange expression on his face. That Deidara guy didn't betray, at least he didn't tell about the existence of the Akatsuki organization. It's just that he worshipped Naruto as his teacher and learned the blasting technique under his hands. Really? Just like any other organization member? Pain frowned immediately. He worships Naruto as a teacher? Are you sure you read it right? Apparently Pain doesn't believe in Ju's nonsense either. What the hell? Deidara's apprenticeship is already ridiculous. Now you actually say that he worships Naruto as a teacher and also learns blasting? In the whole ninja world, Whose blasting technique is better than Deidara? Isn't this completely bullshitting? Xie nodded and said, sure enough, I'm not the only one who finds it strange, right? Fei Duanyi added, this incident is really unbelievable. I think this guy just made a fool of himself. Kakuzu's face was black. Hey, you bastard, don't you really go to catch fish? Lousy is working hard outside to earn money to support you, and this is how you complete the task for me? Hidan. Are you playing us for fools? Facing the suspicious eyes of a group of people, Zhu spread his hands helplessly. If I didn't see it with my own eyes, I would hardly believe it. But it really is the truth. Deidara really worshipped Naruto as a teacher and really learned blasting under his hands. Seeing Zhu's serious face, the doubts in everyone's hearts were slightly reduced. Pen frowned. Then why didn't you bring Deidara back? A simple sentence, as if a bomb exploded in Zhu's mind. Naturally, it cannot be said that I forgot. With a quick eye roll, he immediately found an excuse. I'm thinking about the overall situation. Deidara is now learning blasting from Naruto. It will definitely be more beneficial for our future plans when he returns from his studies. So, I left him there after much deliberation. Black Zetsu couldn't help but praise his wit. Find such a suitable reason in such a short period of time. He folded his hands on his chest, and said in a dignified tone. Forget about Deidara. Because to be honest, Deidara doesn't matter at all in this matter. You can't even imagine what I saw in Konoha. That man named Uzumaki Naruto, his blasting technique has become so powerful that I can't understand it at all. Deidara is a scum in front of him. Black Zetsu shook his head slowly, with a deep expression on his face. And his words immediately filled the entire base with unbelievable voices. Kakuzu shook his head, his face darkening. Absolutely, Lousy thinks your words are getting more and more outrageous. That kid Deidara is very young, but he is indeed a genius in blasting, so he can join us. And yet you say there's a brat in Konoha village who's even better at demolition than Deidara? Do you think we'll believe that? Shie shook his head and sighed, looking at Zhu with doubts in his eyes. Yes, although he is young, Deidara's ninjutsu is obvious to all. Fei Duanyi jumped out. Fortunately, I thought you were a guy with a good IQ, but I didn't expect you to tell such a lie that can be seen through at a glance. Pain didn't speak, because he knew that he would definitely not talk nonsense. He just looked straight at Zhu, his eyes gradually becoming serious. There was a bad premonition in my heart. Spreading his hands, he said helplessly. I knew you would react like this, and you wouldn't believe me just by saying it. But, as long as you have seen this, you will know why I am so abnormal. Saying that, Zhu stretched out his hand and took out a stone. Several people immediately approached and looked at the stone carefully. At first glance, it's just an ordinary stone that can be seen everywhere. However, when he turned it over, he revealed a shocking side. Everyone was shocked. Even Pain's eyes widened uncontrollably. This, the statue of Hokage Rock? Kakuzu's eyes were slightly blank. As a living fossil ninja who once assassinated the first generation 800 miles away, he naturally recognized the appearance of first generation and second generation. Hidan obviously didn't understand the situation. He said nonchalantly, isn't it just a very finely carved stone? What is this? Give me some time, I can do it too. Scorpion glanced at him coldly. No, this sculpture is not that simple, the details are perfect, every detail of expression is so restored, it seems to be a masterpiece. Self-proclaimed artist, Shie can naturally see the gold content of the Hokage rock that is almost reduced in percentage on this stone. Well, according to what you say, Wang Zhao, it is indeed possible. Who did this? Does Konoha have such an artist? Did you go to Konoha and buy a special product? Seeing everyone's satisfied and relished expressions, Black Zetsu sneered. Exquisite? Perfect? Do you feel puzzled? Now let me tell you something even more outrageous. This statue was not bought, nor was it made by a master sculptor, but it was blasted out by Naruto. Hear this. For a moment, the entire base, as if time had been suspended, fell into a long dead silence. Everyone turned their heads in a dull manner, staring at Black Zetsu very seriously. Are you King kidding me? Kakuzu swears directly. Blast it out. How is this possible? Hidan started yelling straight away. How is this possible? Exploding such a delicate statue with explosives? This is simply not something humans can do. There is absolutely no such thing in this world. Scorpio, who was always calm, couldn't sit still anymore, and became irritable. He didn't believe, and he didn't want to believe that there would be such a thing in this world. Conan opened his mouth wide, looking at the words but didn't know what to say. This statue is so exquisitely restored, they thought it was made by a certain master just now. Yet you tell me now, is this what Naruto blasted out with a blasting technique? How can one believe that? Unbelievable. This is unbelievable. Is this the real art of explosion? As blasting like this? It's unheard of. From this point of view, Tongdala City is really not an exaggeration at all. Everyone was completely dumbfounded. Hidan, Kakuzu, Conan opened their mouths blankly, unable to close them for a long time. It was too shocking. They never thought that a blasting technique could be played so brilliantly. It's like a supernatural workmanship, it's simply not something that humans can make. The corners of Pain's mouth twitched slightly, and he sighed. It seems that this Naruto really can't relax his vigilance for a moment. The country of fire, depending on the time, the breeze is cool and the sky is blue. Today's weather is very nice, it's a good day to go. Although there are many regrets in my heart, but Deidara still did not forget his identity. In order to pursue Ultimate's blasting technique, he has to go back to the Akatsuki organization, because normal ninjas cannot just blow up people to death. Now, Deidara carried a backpack taller than others on his back, and carried 4 small cloth bags in his hands. These are all parting gifts from Konoha Xiaoqiang and Naruto, who knew he was leaving. The innocent Xiaoqiang didn't care about his background, but they were very hospitable and learned the blasting technique with him. Here he feels the warmth of home. Pity. He is an artist as well as a yuzu, and he cannot stop until he has fulfilled his ideal. Therefore, no matter how much reluctance there is in my heart, today he also wants to bid farewell to these cute Xiaoqiang who gave him infinite warmth. Seeing the Xiaoqiang gathered in a group, Deidara was not easy to be moved, holding back the tears that were about to come out of his eyes, and put on a smiling face. Although we met for a short time, I will always remember you. I am very glad that I can know you 520, this is the greatest luck in my life, Deidara. I believe that this farewell is not a forever farewell, and sooner or later we will meet again one day. When the time comes, let me see how well your blasting skills have been cultivated, and whether you have lived up to Master Naruto's teachings. He turned his head and looked at Naruto with a serious look. Then, he bowed sharply at 90 degrees, fold down the waist severely. Master Naruto, I will definitely remember your teachings during this period of time. Master, please rest assured, even if I am wandering outside, I will not relax. When we meet next time, I will definitely impress Master. Master, please take care. Subsequently, he turned abruptly away. He was afraid that seeing Naruto's face, the tears he had endured for so long would be unbearable. Behind him, Xiaoqiang waved their hands one after another. Goodbye, Deidara. See you later. At that time, my blasting technique will definitely be better than yours. Hey, we have Naruto teaching beside us, so don't be easily overtaken by us. Naruto folded his hands on his chest, his expression neither sad nor happy. But the 2 words were passed into Deidara's ears not far away. Effort. Deidara paused, then nodded heavily. I certainly will. Talking. Deidara stepped on the big bird. Soar. The figures running all the way to the ground shrunk down to the size of ants. Deidara slowly slowed down. He uncovered a cloth bag in his left hand. Inside was a head statue carved out of stone. It was his avatar. Seeing this, the tears that I had endured for a long time finally burst out. Whoa, this is the real master. This is the real art. Just wait, Master, I will definitely catch up with you. After parting with everyone, Naruto wandered around bored. As we walked, we came to a lake. This lake is the lake under the jurisdiction of the Uchiha family, and it was the place where he contacted Fire Style's bad street technique. Sitting cross-legged on a rock by the lake, Naruto silently recalled the abilities he had extracted from the system. Dodge, Gentle Fist, Blast. I have already practiced to a certain level before, and I am afraid it will be difficult to improve in a short time. It's all about killing time. The same goes for body flicker technique and shuriken technique. Observation Haki. Needless to say, keep practicing. Elementary wood style is like a passive, which cannot be practiced. What's left? Well, lightning style Raikiri, all attributes chakra and one Tomo Sharingan. Look at these skills. Naruto silently shook his head and sighed. As a qualified Konoha shinobi practitioner, it's too weak to only master this ability. It seems that you need to practice even harder. Open black lens bracket. Ding. Involvement succeeded. You have obtained 100 involution points. Close black lens bracket. Don't make such a system, it's just my normal thinking. In the ninja world, this ability is far from enough. Naruto squeezed his chin, looking thoughtful. At present, the Shao organization has appeared, and it has never even come to monitor itself twice, and I am afraid that there will be various troubles emerging in the future. Leaving aside everything else, there are several big troubles lurking in Konoha village alone. The third generation in Konoha F4 has been controlled by me, but the other. Observation Haki diverges. In the mind, a three-dimensional image is built. Sure enough, hidden in the woods not far away, a root was secretly watching him. Roots. Danzo at the roots is a problem too. Naruto frowned slightly. Naked Danzo, there is no danger. But if you wear distinguished heavenly gods lenses, you have to be careful. The technique of distinguished heavenly gods is basically unsolvable. Being able to directly distort a person's will, and never being able to change it, is second to none. The most important thing is that it can be used quietly. Even when the consciousness has been modified, I am afraid that I will not be able to detect it. Even if Danzo doesn't get the distinguished heavenly gods now, in case Uchiha Shisui loses his nerve, it's not very comfortable to give himself one time. Therefore, the most important thing for Naruto now is to cultivate the ability to fight against the distinguished heavenly gods. Well, the AHFH Sharingan has been left unmoved, and it's almost time to start practicing. With his eyes open, Naruto's mind has been connected to the distant clone brigade. After transmitting his thoughts, he waited silently. A person's introversion is always limited, but if 3,000 people roll at the same time, the limit can be raised a lot. The country of fire. Border forest, surrounded by remote waterfalls. The three brigade captains immediately stopped all movements in their hands and gathered together. Number 1 looks at number 2 and number 3. You feel it? This task is not easy. Number 2 nodded. Indeed, after all, distinguished heavenly gods is known as the strongest illusion, and it can directly distort people's will, which is really terrifying. Number 3 asked curiously. So, if you use distinguished heavenly gods to distort someone's will and make him think that eating shit is normal, he will eat shit without hesitation, right? Clatter. Number 1 and number 2 held their noses and backed away in disgust, looking at number 3 as if they were looking at something dirty. I didn't expect you to be such a person, number 3. Number 1 said with an ugly face. You are simply the scum among us. Number 2 also shook his head in disappointment. Number 3 asked with a puzzled expression, spreading his hands. I'm just curious, and I'm not really going to do that. But no matter what he said, Shendu did not change in the way number 1 and number 2 looked at him. Number 3 said helplessly, okay, stop making trouble, hurry up and discuss a countermeasure, the main body is still waiting. Back to business. Number 1 and number 2 immediately returned to business. Number 1 pinched his chin in thought. What do you think? Number 2 said seriously. To fight against distinguished heavenly gods, it is best to use the characteristics of illusion. To put it bluntly, no matter how powerful the distinguished heavenly gods are, they still belong to the category of illusions. I believe that even brainwashing illusions have their limits. Number 1 nodded in approval. You're right. Although distinguished heavenly gods are strong, they definitely have their limitations. For example, people with strong willpower will not be brainwashed. Then how to increase the resistance to illusion? Do you want to exercise your willpower? Number 3 raised his hand and said. Number 1 thought for a while, shook his head and said. It's roughly in this direction. Then why not let everyone team up in 2 groups, and then use phantasm on each other? Number 2 nodded approvingly, but also made a suggestion. The idea is good, but I think we should change the direction and concentrate resources to do big things. What to do? Number 1 and number 3 asked in unison. Don't distract your pupils. Since everyone can use Sharingan, choose one person and let him face all of us. I think that as long as he can withstand the power of the past 3,000 people, he will definitely be able to withstand the distinguished heavenly gods. If not, let 9 tails join. Number 1 nodded. Indeed, our 3,000 pairs of Sharingan are even more numerous than the real Uchiha clan. Seeing that the plan had been determined, number 3 said. Then get ready to go. Talking, number 3 rolled up his sleeves directly, as if he was going to do a big job. However, both number 1 and number 2 stood still, just watching him silently. It's not just them. The avatars, who were still practicing various ninjutsu, also stopped silently. Now, 3,000 people, no, to be precise, it should be 2,999 Naruto clones, just like black people surrounding white women, they all surrounded them. 2,999 pairs of eyes are also staring at number 3. This invisible sense of oppression made number 3 seem to be facing a mountain made up of clones. What the hell? Why is Tien looking at me like that? His voice trembled slightly, and there was an ominous premonition in his heart. Number 1 and number 2 looked at each other, and then looked at number 3 with a kind smile. Number 3, who do you think is the most suitable person to be the person who resists the illusion? Number 3's pupils shrank, and said without tears. Difficult, don't you? Number 1 and number 2 smiled and nodded. Since you are the original author of this plan, you are naturally the most suitable candidate. 3 wanted to refute, but being stared at by everyone, he knew he couldn't escape at all. I just have one request, step by step. The smiles on the faces of number 1 and number 2 suddenly spread into a twisted look. Mouth Kakuzu cracked to the earlobe. Don't worry, we have a sense of proportion. Ale? Have you started practicing yet? Feeling that the avatars were working hard there, Naruto's face moved slightly. This is too curly. From when he passed the news to when the avatars began to practice, the whole process took less than 15 minutes. No, you can't be compared to them. Naruto felt he couldn't do nothing. Otherwise, why not do it as a clone? Thoughts moved slightly. Naruto thought, forget it, watching his roots not far away. It's not interesting for me to get involved alone, so let's get Danzo involved too. Just to be with the 3rd generation. Ding, involution succeeded. Congratulations on getting 100 involution points. The corner of his mouth curled into a strange arc, and Naruto immediately had an evil plan in his mind. He sat on the stone, staring blankly at the lake, without blinking. It seems to be concentrating on meditation. A minute passed. 2 minutes passed. 10 minutes passed. If it is a normal person, listening to one place without blinking for such a long time, I am afraid that the eyes are about to go blind. But Naruto's physical talent is exceptional, and there are 3,000 avatars who are practicing pupil art at this time, so for him not blinking for a long time, it is as simple as breathing. But his unusual behavior made the root of the surveillance in the dark bewildered. The 2 Anbu looked at each other, and asked suspiciously. Go-To Gen. What is he doing? Why is he staring at the front without moving? The fox shook his head. I don't know, don't talk casually, don't be discovered by others. The topic is silent. 30 minutes later. Gotogen. I'm going. What the hell is he doing? Why hasn't he moved yet? At the base of the fox's head. Ah, I should be meditating. Gotogen. But who would meditate with their eyes open? 2 hours later. Go out to Genbu. It's over. This kid is probably doing some weird ninjutsu again. At the base of the fox's head. Ah, it should be. Gaotu Genbu. Why is it coming again? Can you stop for a while? I still want to take a vacation. Konoha. In the center of the village, somewhere hidden underground. Route HQ. Among the dark spaces, only a few torches light up a few spaces. Danzo sat in his seat, his upper body hidden in the darkness. In his hand is the information recently collected by Root. Most of them are all information about Naruto. The more he looked, the more headache he got. He was obviously just a little ghost before. How long is this? There are already so many tricky abilities. Fast-paced body flicker technique. A evasion technique that allows many people to siege without getting hurt. A gentle fist stronger than Chief Hyuga. Even now, he has obtained such a powerful blasting technique. What should I do now? Danzo's scalp tingled. Originally, I wanted to control Naruto so that I could secure Hokage's seat in the future. But if it goes on like this, let alone him to control it, I'm afraid that the old thing third generation will not be able to control it. Naruto grows too fast. Sooner or later, things will get out of their control. Swish. Just when Danzo was extremely annoyed. A root appears below. Danzo lifted his eyelids and recognized the roots below as one of the ones he had sent to spy on Naruto. Since the last gentle fist thing, he asked the root to monitor all the movements of Naruto 24 hours a day. In order to be more humane, I arranged for 2 people to be together. In this way, when reporting, one person can also stare at Naruto. What did Uzumaki Naruto do again today? Danzo asks in a deep voice. Go-To-Gen bowed his head and said, Uzumaki Naruto he didn't do anything today, just sat by the lake and stared at the lake all day. Didn't go home until nightfall. Okay, hear this. Danzo frowned immediately. If it were someone else, they would be relieved to know that Naruto hadn't done anything all day, thinking that he must be resting or being lazy or something. But Danzo, the old schemer, thinks otherwise. He sensed a conspiracy. Judging from his recent observations, Naruto must have his purpose in everything he does. This is true for learning Gentle Fist, and the same is true for obscene blasting. Rest. How can a person who goes to practice without even going to sleep, rest? Totally unreasonable. So Uzumaki Naruto is definitely not a simple meditation. He must have a conspiracy. Danzo narrowed his eyes, then said in a deep voice. Continue to monitor and tell me everything about him, don't miss any details. Go-To-Gen responded quickly. Yes, Danzo is the world. Whoosh. The root of the dog's head suddenly disappeared in place. Danzo leans forward slightly, revealing his upper body from the shadows. Uzumaki Naruto, what are you going to do? The next day. Sunny, it's a fine day for dreaming. Naruto got up early in the morning, and after briefly arranging today's blasting training for Xiaoqiang, he came to the lake to sit quietly. The same as yesterday. Naruto concentrated and remained motionless, as if turned into a statue. Not even the eyelids moved. Master Danzo said that we should observe carefully and not miss any details. So look carefully today. Soon, 2 hours passed. The root of the dark watch feels sour in the eyes. I kept wanting to take a break after the show. However, Naruto didn't even blink, and at this moment, Gotogen found something surprising. He was a little puzzled, and said in horror. Hey, wait, how did he do it? Why doesn't he even bat an eye at all? The fox frowned slightly. What are you talking about? It's his eyes. I just realized that he hasn't blinked at all since the beginning. He's been staring at the lake all the time. That's completely anti-human, right? The fox turned his head and stared at Naruto in surprise. 5 minutes later. I rely on. How did this work? Is he really human? Root basement. Doghead Root returned to Root headquarters to report. Master Danzo, Uzumaki Naruto sat by the lake all day today. Gaotu-gen bowed his head to report, with a trace of extreme unconfidence in his tone. Danzo frowned slightly. That's it? Nothing special? Stu Gotugan hesitated for a moment, and then said in disbelief. Yes, one of my subordinates finds it very strange. But that… I don't know what to say. Danzo's eyes lit up, and he immediately ordered solemnly. Say. Gotu-gen took a deep breath and said with extreme uncertainty. We found out that Naruto didn't blink. Hearing these words, Danzo frowned, confused. What do you mean? Didn't blink? During the entire period of surveillance, we did not see Uzumaki Naruto blink once. A full 8 hours of meditation, not once. Hearing the words of Root, Danzo frowned, because his mind was muddled. 8 hours without blinking? What are you kidding? How is this possible? It's clear that Danzo doesn't believe his men's nonsense. 0. Seeking flowers. Oh, what the hell? 8 hours without blinking. Is this something humans can do? Don't say 8 hours. It's hard not to blink for 8 seconds. Even if it is a latent mission, it is impossible not to blink. But that's true. He really didn't blink. We also think it's weird. The dog's head was at a loss. Don't talk about you, Danzo-sama, we don't even understand the situation. That guy really didn't blink his eyes the whole time. Strangeness. Danzo felt something was wrong more and more. It's just too weird, although he hasn't figured out the situation yet. But at least, he was sure that Naruto's current state was very wrong. What the hell is this kid? Is he practicing ninjutsu? According to past experience, 80% of them are like this. If it's ninjutsu, then Danzo can't relax his vigilance even more. Because he has always wanted to find out how Naruto practiced ninjutsu. The supervisors didn't understand it several times before. This time, I must study thoroughly throughout the whole process. Master his secrets. Go, keep staring at him, and report any abnormal situation truthfully. Danzo said in a deep voice. 0. Yes. Whoosh. The root of the dog's head disappeared in place. Soon, as time passed, the third day came. In the training ground on the border of the Land of Fire, in 3 days, it was able to resist the pupil power of more than 70 people. On Naruto's side, although Sharingan's pupil power is constantly increasing. But he still didn't move, and he didn't even open the Sharingan once. Just sitting on the stones by the lake, like a statue. 4th day. Number 3 can resist the pupil force of 120 people. Naruto is still like a statue, not blinking an eye. 5th day. 6th day. The 7th day. Time passed quickly without knowing it. Soon, 2 weeks flew by. The forest area of the Uchiha mansion, next to the lake. The 2 Anbu, with haggard faces, yellow complexion, high cheekbones and baldness, looked at Naruto dully. Maybe it's because I stared at Naruto too much. They also often forget to blink, but they don't have Naruto's physique. As a result, they often have unbearable tears and dry eyes. This has often happened a week ago, up to now. They feel like they're going to go blind if it goes on. Yet for now they see no sign of the end of the matter. It's been 2 weeks and Naruto isn't over yet. I just meditate here every day and stare at the lake without moving. I don't know what I'm doing. Even though their hearts were extremely desperate, they could only grit their teeth and persevere at the thought of facing Danzo's reprimand. Here, at most, it is to lose a pair of eyes, but if they pissed off Danzo, they could lose a life. Gotugen's face was extremely haggard. In just 2 weeks, his weight dropped sharply by 20 caddies. The whole person is almost skinny. This shows how much pressure he has. When is the end of this day? What the hell is he doing? What kind of ninjutsu do you want to practice? The dog's head whispered in despair. The base of the fox's head didn't even have the strength to speak back. The pressure at the root of the dog's head is high. He's also under a lot of pressure. Haggard, embarrassed, desperate, hopeless. However, at this time, just when the spirits of the 2 of them were almost on the verge of collapse, on the stone by the lake, Naruto, who looked like a sculpture, suddenly opened his hands and shouted excitedly, finally practiced to 0.